Dr. Tina, amazing. So much information. It was just like packed full. And thank you for just talking. Like, it was awesome to just listen to you hear all of the things that people need to hear. And this one that you brought up later in the podcast about the pineal gland, I just heard about that. And being an intuitive, doing psychic work, I do energy work healings based on Barbara Brennan's technique and several other modalities, which is really, has become a combination on my own. But I'm doing the psychic work on my clients on the table. And a lot of times when I'm seeing my clients on the table, I'm seeing vaccine injuries, I'm seeing COVID injuries, I'm going into the energetic field, into the chakras, kind of in that the unseen
Yeah.
realms, the quantum realm, and working with that. I've had to
Yeah.
remove even an outer layer, this like cellophane like type of sticky. It even has a sound because I'm clairaudient as well. As I'm pulling it off, it has like you're peeling apart wax or tape or something like that. It's very strange. And
Yeah.
I was really disturbed when I heard that the pineal is also involved too.
Yeah. Well, yes, very, very disturbing, very disturbing. There was an Italian pathologist who was doing postmortems on people who had sudden adult death, so who were found dead in bed, and that was of all ages. And he said about half of them had a destroyed pineal gland, which is really alarming, you know, absolutely alarming. And there's no way your body is going to function if your pineal gland is damaged or
No, and the
destroyed.
pineal
It's
and the
just
pineal are
horrendous.
pituitary work together, and the pineal is our connection to source. So that is our connection to
Yeah,
the oneness, to the
yeah,
all that is, which is if we want to come out of separation and duality and into oneness, not having a high function or a functioning or destroy pineal, that we're not going to be able to do that.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And you have to question why would they want to destroy the pineal gland?
Yeah,
You know, um, because you're as you exactly said, it's that's our gateway into our spirituality and learning more and more about ourselves as spiritual beings. It's like and the ether, how people can telepathically communicate. There's so much that has been hidden from us and that we're only really now coming to the fore with, so it's a very exciting time for this, I think, knowledge and realization to come out, and information to be shared. And there are
yeah, I
some
think that too.
amazing people like yourself and working with healing chakras, and that you can see the chakra on there are some scans you can do, aren't there, which can show the chakra around the body in the different colors. And that's all very exciting. And recently, I have started using, I don't know if you've come across them, life wave patches. Have you come across those?
Oh, I haven't.
Probably. And there's one called Oh, you haven't? Oh, I
I
need to tell you
haven't.
about these. These are amazing. This is
Please.
an incredible. Uh, in my practice, Liz, I try and make everything as natural as possible, as drug-free and as natural as possible for people. And so one of my patients introduced me to these LifeWave patches, which are extraordinary technology. And the man behind them is called David Schmidt, and he's an incredible inventor. And he says he channels his information. It's channeled to him,
Mhm.
to invent the next thing, and it's incredible. And he also talks about the book of Genesis in the Bible and how there's a code in there, and he decodes it, and
Wow.
that gives him the sort of the secret of life and how to do things. Anyway, so he's very much into longevity and fitness and being healthy. Okay, so he wanted to develop things that would enable people to have more energy, better concentration, and to have longevity. And if you want longevity, then really it's about turning the clock back. It's about reinstating a younger self, a younger body, which is more resilient and has a better immune system and heals and better and faster and so on. So spent 10 years studying and researching stem cells and how best to activate the stem cells. And he found that, as people will have heard, there are peptides in the body, and peptides are little short chain fatty so proteins. They're small proteins made of amino acids, and they do different things in the body. When we're young, we have loads of them. The levels are high, and so we have plump skin, and we have a good immune system, and so on, and heal well. And then as we get older, they really, really decline. So at birth, you have, I think it's a billion stem cells. And by the time you are 30, 60% have gone to sleep. And by the time you're 60, 90% have become inactive. And the reason that happens is because this peptide called GHK copper, this copper peptide declines as we age. And it's the copper peptide that's responsible for waking up and keeping the stem cells active.
Mm.
The GHK copper peptide also has its own regulatory effects. It's boosts the immune system. It's anti-inflammatory. It resets. This is extraordinary. It resets 4,100 genes back to the factory settings to make them more efficient.
Wow.
It increases collagen production, elastin and collagen from the fibroblasts. So that's for joints, skin, hair, nails, everything.
Incredible.
And it does various other things too, and boosts the immune system and so on. So amazing, amazing. So he spent 10 years studying this, and he came up with little patches, which are just crystals. I'll show you what they look like.
Great.
There's one there.
Okay.
Little patch of crystals, okay? So I stick this on the back of my neck, and the crystals reflect your own body's light back into your body. So he worked out we all emit infrared light,
Hmm.
and infrared cameras can see that, a glow around people. It's part of our biofield, and it's emitted by our DNA and our mitochondria. And it's just sort of wasted, really. It sort of goes out, right? And these little patches, depending on the angle of the crystals, they reflect the light back into the body. And when they're reflected back into the body, different wavelengths of light will increase the production of different peptides. So the one that I'm wearing at the moment is the X39, and that one stimulates GHK copper peptide, and you wear it for 12 hours a day. And then within 2 days, it's increased your stem cells by 2,100%.
Wow.
By the end of the week, it started to reset the 4,100 genes, which is 1/3 of the human genome. By 6 weeks, it's reduced the inflammation in the brain and increased brain coherence, which is the left and right hemispheres. And so people have better cognitive function, less anxiety, less depression. By 3 months, the collagen has improved so much you can see it in your skin, reduce fine lines and things like that, and you feel it in your joints. Muscles are stronger and respond well to exercise and recover more quickly. And
Incredible.
then by 6 months, it has reversed the heart age by, on average, 8.5 years. And
Wow.
this is extraordinary. I've been using it for 6 months now, and I'm always looking for something more that will help my patients.
Mhm.
So I was thrilled when I found these because I thought, well, let's see. We've got nothing to lose. It's not a drug. Doesn't interfere with anything the patient's taking. They wear it for 12 hours a day. They take it off. And anyway, so I have a lady who had myocarditis and heart failure from the COVID and the vaccines.
Wow.
When she came to see me, she was only 38 with a young family. And we were working, improving her mast cell activation, reducing some of her symptoms, but we weren't really getting very far. And she had this heart failure, and she was having echoes of her heart to monitor her heart every 3 months. And anyway, as soon as I found out about these patches and researched them, looked at the studies, I was like, right, she needs these. So I rang her up and said, please, please, X39 and carnosine for you, and the Eon patch. So she started using them. And after 3 months, she had a repeat echo, and her heart volume had gone, the function had gone from 50%, which was heart failure, to 60% in just 3 months, which was a
Wow.
20% improvement. And this lady had been a cardiologist for 4 years, and they hadn't managed to improve her heart function at all. So that was a really exciting moment, and hope and anticipate that it will get continue to improve more and more and more with this. But yeah, it's very exciting. But talking about the pineal gland, there's one called an Alavida patch, and this little patch I wear at night, and it's good for your skin. It boosts collagen production, but it's very protective for the pineal gland. Yeah, so that's a really
That's
good reason
incredible.
to use it. It improves your sleep. It increases melatonin production by the pineal gland, so it improves your sleep quality and quantity, and it yeah, so it's sort of guarding the pineal gland. So yeah, worth
Brilliant.
using that one, I think.
That's
But
brilliant. And I love this
I can send you
because
some information about it.
yes, please. I would love that. And I think this is great too, because myself, I'm a highly sensitive person. When I was younger, my mom couldn't give me anything with any red dye or any other dyes in it. I
Yeah,
broke out in hives all the time.
yeah.
And it's this is stuck with me. I've never been able to take medications really. I am oversensitive to medications. Even I went to an acupuncturist once and he's giving me I had low adrenals from, taking care of my children when they were little. And he gave me this tincture. And I go home and I take the first dose of the tincture. I'm running around the house cleaning. I call him like, oh my gosh, what did you give me? Like this dose, I think is too high because I feel like I've had a couple pots of coffee. And like he would describe, like some people are in that range where it's not, the regular engine. I'm going to compare it to a car because that's what he
Yeah.
did. It's more like the Lamborghini, and just a little tweak
Tiny,
can, help your system. Where if you're
tiny
getting like the
adjustment. Yeah.
normal dose,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've
Yeah.
always preferred like the grounding and the Epsom salt baths, and
Yes. Yeah.
uh, hot packs, or I'm not thinking of the word right.
Castor oil
Castor
packs.
oil packs. Thank you.
Yes.
Vitamins
Yes.
and healthy food and sunshine and everything that I
Absolutely.
can do good for my body, because that's what it
Yeah.
responds to. So to
Yeah.
have something like this to add,
Oh, I have been so impressed by it. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And the inventor is an extraordinary man. He's very humble, but he's quite extraordinary, and he comes up with the most incredible ideas. And he's just released in America this water machine called Light Water, and he has changed the angle of the H2, it's two hydrogen atoms with one oxygen atom, H2O. The angle between the hydrogen atoms, he's changed it. So it means that now water molecules can hold onto photons of light. So he's inserting different wavelengths of light between the molecules of the water, and you drink a glass a day, and within 15 seconds, they can measure that this light has penetrated and gone into all your cells,
wow,
and and really sort of re-energize them, which is extraordinary. So yeah,
that's
and
incredible.
yes, you lucky souls in America can get that, but we can't here in the UK. But
Hopefully
not
you
yet.
can soon.
Next
What are
year,
some
next
other
year.
protocols for people who are still feeling like, gosh, I'm still tired. I've had COVID.
Yeah,
Thankfully for myself, I was one of the ones, just had it for a couple days and it was
yeah,
gone. Unfortunately, I was in Spain at the time and I hadn't brought, Murphy's Law, you bring something and you don't get it, you don't bring it and you do, right? That kind of a situation. And had to track down somebody to actually help me get back into the United States. So I
oh
didn't
God,
miss my flight, which was quite the ordeal. But for those who are suffering like from long
mm,
COVID or something like that, what
yeah.
extra protocol do you recommend for them to be able to
Okay.
help get back to
Yes.
health?
Yeah, so the first thing is to go on a low histamine diet for 3 months and do it very, very religiously, and that means no tea, no coffee, no green tea, no alcohol, no chocolate. Because sometimes I have patients who I've said, please go on a low histamine diet. And then 3 months later, they say, I'm still not great. And I say, well, what are you having? Oh, I'm having 2 espresso coffees in the morning. It's like, oh, you're setting yourself up to fail. That is, you poisoned yourself before you've even started the day. So it's really worth being very, very good about not having those things. No, no tea, no coffee, no green tea, because they're all super high in histamine. And have a clean, low histamine diet, no processed foods, everything freshly prepared. That's a very basic principle, very important. The second thing is to get rid of all the triggers, because these mast cells are overreactive and they're over-responding. And therefore, you need to find out what the triggers are and get rid of them. So that could be scented candles, it could be perfume, it could be stress, it could be spike protein. So very, very important, because the spike protein attaches itself through the ACE2 receptors, and the mast cells are covered in ACE2 receptors. You need to get rid of the spike protein. If you've had exposure to mold, then what I suggest you do, actually, mold is tricky. You can spend a lot of money having lots of mold blood tests and things analyzed, and sometimes the tests are reliable, sometimes they're not reliable. So
Yeah.
in my practice, I don't like to suggest lots of tests for people, because most of the time they can't afford it. It's a private clinic, and people don't have medical insurance like in America. They have to pay for it themselves and fund it themselves. So unless the test is going to really add value and make us do something completely different, then I would, we usually agree, the patient consents, so maybe I don't want to have that test after all. If somebody has ever been exposed to mold, and even as a child, you could still, as an adult, have mycotoxins still in your body. So it's worth drinking 2 or 3 mugs of Podarco tea every day.
What was that again?
Now, Podarco, that's Pau, and then new word, D'Arco, Podarco tea.
Got it.
It contains a chemical that is very good at clearing mycotoxins, which whatever type of mycotoxin you have. It comes from the Amazon rainforest. In the UK, we buy it from a company called rioamazon.co.uk. And it's 2 or 3 mugs a day for 6 months should sort the toxic mycotoxins. So you want to start going through your list of, and if somebody's had childhood trauma, for example, that can be a big sort of trigger for mast cell activation and an over-responsive immune system that's trying to keep them safe. If you suffer with physical, emotional, social, sexual abuse as a child, you'd be frightened. You spend most of your life frightened. I mean, it breaks my heart to think of it. So you'd be terrified. And so your immune system would be like on red alert the whole time,
Yeah.
because it wants to protect you. And it often, as an adult, then it doesn't switch off. So it's still, so you have to deal with childhood trauma. Things like techniques like, EFT, that's emotional freedom technique. You probably know about that, tapping,
Fantastic.
etc. Yeah, and maybe psilocybin. You know, Psilocybin is a very good way. I've had patients come to the States for psilocybin treatments in a
Hmm.
clinical setting to get rid of some of these awful ghosts from the past, where
I
they
have
have
done
been,
sacred ceremony myself, and it was a huge healing. I recommend it, and
brilliant,
have had conversations with people who microdose and have had success.
brilliant,
Hmm.
brilliant. I know I have to. So there's all sorts of things that one should be looking at and thinking about. And I think we need to look after our spiritual health as well. Meditation. I mean, this is what your podcast is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be mindful, um,
Yes, I agree.
meditate, think. Yeah.
And cleanse too,
Yeah. Take
because
your
doing
time,
this
think.
cleanse, you're talking about the anti-inflammatory diet, no perfumes, no caffeines, no
Yeah.
chemicals. And I can't even sit next to
Yes.
somebody on the airplane who has perfume on. It's like it
Oh
goes
no, you
straight
have
to
a
my
headache
senses.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it makes me nauseous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did my spring cleanse. I'm looking at doing a fall cleanse again. And here on island, I cleanse with Kale Balazar, who does an Ayurvedic cleanse. And is after the 3 weeks that we did, and I started mine a little bit earlier, really cleaned up my diet about a month before. But by the end, I woke up one morning, I'm just like, everything just the clarity of like sight and smell and taste and then feeling in the body just sets in.
Lovely.
And then after that, you can do a little,
Fantastic.
like 24-hour, um, either a cleanse or a mono diet or, gosh, what's the word? Menopause. The next one we're going to do is on menopause because these words just fly right out of my head. Where you don't eat for 24 hours. Do that every now and then. It resets our
Oh.
body. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. No, absolutely. Critical. Critical. We've got to start looking after ourselves and getting back to nature, haven't we?
Yeah,
And
we
getting
have.
away from all the drugs and the big pharma influence and thinking it's just quick and easy to pop a pill. Every pill comes with a price. Every pill has a side effect or a negative effect on the body. And so, you want to use them minimum. I'm not saying they're all bad, and they do have their place at the right time in the right doses, but for short periods of time, hopefully, and only when absolutely necessary, when there isn't anything else that you can do.
Yeah.
A lot of wisdom has been forgotten. Um, you know, uh, for many, many centuries, thousands of years, people used herbs and a lot of drugs are made from the herbs, but we
Yeah.
could get back to some of the more naturalistic ways of doing things, I think.
Yeah,
And
I
we
think so
are
too.
the exciting new frontier is that we are the frequency medicine. We are all frequencies, and people are learning how to apply healing to with frequencies, and that's so exciting. Listening to healing frequencies, 432 hertz. I mean, there's a whole series of healing frequencies. Our ancestors knew about that.
Yeah. I listen to those for
All
sleep.
of this stuff. Be getting that.
Yeah. And for
Sorry?
meditation. I use them for sleep and for meditation. Yeah, they're really effective.
Yeah,
And
lovely.
my new
Love.
favorite, I'm taking a
Mm,
deeper dive into homeopathy right now, um, and having huge success. So there are a lot of natural ways out there. And I think doing that too, getting back to the herbs and ancient medicine and that sort of thing is we're kind of taking our power back because I think we've
yeah.
spent years and years now during the
Yeah.
pharmaceutical industries like giving our power away, to these industries and really taking our autonomy
Yeah.
back, taking our personal power back and having a voice for ourselves
Yeah.
in our decision-making process, our physical health, our mental
Yeah.
health, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our sovereignty.
Yeah, our sovereignty. Yes, thank you.
Our sovereignty. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's some very good courses online about sovereignty and natural law. I'd really recommend them to people. I don't know if people have heard of Dr. Tess Lowry. Dr. Tess Lowry, who is behind the World Council for Health, and she was pioneering trying to bring ivermectin information to the world and make it available and so on. And she has a website called EBMC squared .org, I think, and on there's a fantastic course about natural law. And I think we all need to know. We all need to know where our sovereignty lies. All about natural law and all about the legal side that we've been hoodwinked into believing in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm
very
going to look
interesting.
her up too. The more information, the better. Be informed, Yeah. And Sansar, this
Yeah,
has been so, thank you
absolutely.
so much for sticking around for an after chat. This has been
Pleasure.
fantastic. And I
It's a
like all
pleasure.
the different like bullet points that we hit and great information for our listeners to take away. Dr.
Oh,
Tina, thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure to meet you and host you and have a conversation with you and a little after chat. So thank you so much for sticking around.
my pleasure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Tina. I appreciate it. And we're going to sign off now, everybody. Thanks for coming to the after chat and listening. I will see you at the next one. Thanks, everybody. Bye.